Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Let's Stand Gamers, and welcome. So today we're taking a look at an absolutely beautiful ship that is absolutely colossal from the Steam Workshop. Now, this is the Hades Shadow by H.S.Y, and I have to say, it is a fantastic little design. Well, no, I won't say little, it is very, very big. But this is the first one I've looked at in quite a while that is actually using modifications. The community is quite split on sort of ships using mods, and I can see why. But let's have a look around the designs themselves and just kind of see exactly what this ship has to offer. Now, as we get a little bit closer, you'll notice there's a big difference and contrast between the black and white paneling of this ship. But have a look a little bit closer, you can see that he's used one of the modifications to create this really cool sort of light line under here. We've also got the armored panel blocks under in this section, just used to create a little bit more detail. And as we come into this section here, you can see how he's created that lovely bright white contrasting area, just creating various different shapes within the armor. And you can see he's done this throughout the ship. So if we actually go up on the top here, you'll notice we've got another variety of rather cool little turrets. We've got this awesome little flak battery here on the top deck, and we also have massive battleship cannons going across there as well. Very cool indeed. I'd love to see this thing in a fight. That's if space engineers could probably handle it battling. So let's actually have a look underneath the actual craft itself, and you can see how he's actually sloped the armor around here. He's got a hidden communications array in that section, and you can see he's used some more of that blue type modded block there to create a little bit more detailing around them turrets. But you can just see how he's dropped various areas and recessed different points to create really cool effects. So as we go into this section, you can see how he's used one of the modified pipe blocks, and that goes up to a little bit of a cool airlock docking door, and then into this section that holds these two larger blue containers. And just notice how he's spaced it out with a number of different armor blocks there, just creating a little bit of detail as it follows these blue modded blocks along. So you can see there's two more large areas of armor that is cut out using them large modded blocks, and it comes into the side area here. We've got the thrusters. We've got a little bit of side protection going on with the turret there, and you can see the level of detail that is going on in various different sections. So if we come up to this area, you'll notice that he's just put this obscure sort of reddy orange block here. It just gives it like a little bit of an accent of that particular color as it enters into the rear battery. Just look at the size of them battleship cannons. You won't be on the receiving end of them. I believe they're laser cannons. In fact, we've got a standard battery at the bottom and then laser cannons on the top. And we have just got a variety of machine gun turrets all over this place. So as we come a little bit further back before we visit the undersection, you can see how we've got this U sort of emblem with the blue, and then it reaches out into this rather cool little tail section that reaches into the rear Titan thrusters. I believe the Titan thrusters, you can see they're in that cool little housing there, all constructed out of modding blocks, and you've got the vented panel blocks on the bottom, as well as another laser battery and a whole variety of anti-fighter turrets underneath as well. You can see there's a second battery going on there, and just some of the detailing. And as we come into this area, we actually enter into the hangar bay, and what I'm going to do is actually pop my camera up here and start the interior part of the tour. So what I really like about this is just how simple it is. You can see how the pipes going through the center. You've got yourself a small docking area in either side, as well as this little catwalk. So we can actually make our way to the front of the ship through this section. Two more interior turrets just to protect us as we go through. And then you can see off in this area, we actually have a little bit of a centralized control room. You can see the sensors at very different points to turn lights on and off to prevent any lagification. You can see that is that airlock we were looking at before. So let's continue working our way through the ship. We'll enter through these side staircases. Now there's lots of different floors and lots of different areas to the ship, and modded blocks just allow you to create areas that wouldn't really exist without the blocks themselves. So we've got like a little TV waiting room down the side, and we've got these modded sort of interior walls in this section. So I'll just turn my light off here so it's not as bright, so you can kind of get a feeling for what it's actually like and how it's been lit in each rather section. So since there's so much to see of this ship, I'm going to take us to some of the main areas. We've got the various crew quarters, but if I actually just cut through this, we enter into one of the jump drive rooms. Just look at the cool curation of these different various modded blocks in this section. We'll turn our lights off so you get a better vary of how it is. You've got these round sections going on, and then you have the reactor room here at the rear. That is this just great glowing green room that just looks so cool. You've got the jump drive down the back, you've got them under the floor as well. It just feels very toxic in this room, like you'd have to go in here with some sort of protective suit. So that's one of my favorite areas. Anyway, we'll quickly skip through the front of the ship and I'll show you another rather cool area. So as we're going through the various areas, that's the game center that I showed you before, we can actually tuck our way up into this corridor. Now this corridor here takes us to the captain's quarters, medicine and main engineering that I showed you in that direction. But if we go back down this corridor, it actually takes us to the bridge. I know it's a bit disorientating, but that's kind of exactly what you want when someone's attacking your ship. They'd just be disorientated and not know where they are, so you can take them out quite easily. So you've got these long corridors, you've got these two blue Azure tanks. You enter into this section. I just like how you're all walking on this catwalk. You can imagine workers and whatnot working below you. And then we enter into the main bridge right here. So we've got various readouts, various different information going on. There's a little bit of reflection going on the glass that can be a little bit misleading. But basically, if we actually have a look through the wall, you've got this very nice armored box in the center that's giving you and your crew a lot of protection that you need. So you can just see how I quite like this area. It's just a centralized seat with lots of information going on around you. It's not super fancy and it's not overly crazily detailed, but at the same time it gives you exactly what you need, and it gives you this idea and feel of a command center. So the final step is taking this guy for a test drive. So you can see with our standard thrust, we've got ourselves a basic sort of acceleration here. And if we decide we want to go a little bit faster, we can activate our gravity drive. Just look at the acceleration, 340 meters a second instantly. We disable that, we can slow ourselves down almost instantly as well. That is one of the things with modded ships. The mods can pretty much allow you to do whatever you want, even to what you could call that as kind of a cheating level, but I guess if everyone's got their mod on the server, it is kind of fair if they utilize it in the correct way. It makes battles in space happen a hell of a lot faster as well, especially if the speed is raised up. But at that speed, the amount of lag and sim speed issues you're going to have probably outweigh the factor of the speed itself. Anyway, let's thank you guys for watching. Check out the link to this item in the description of this video, and I will see you next time. Make sure you give me some feedback and comments on what you think between the modded ships and the ships that use no mods at all. And